So, I'm going to start this off by saying recently I watched a video. At least this video is not a response to any other video. This is just a video. But I watched a video, and Kenneth Rhodes was talking at PorcFest 2012, which is a libertarian festival up in New Hampshire, called the Porcupine Festival, where a bunch of, seems to me like a bunch of libertarians take off all their clothes and get drunk and high. You know, libertarians gathering in a group seems counterintuitive, like the Libertarian Party. That reminds me of the History of the World movie with the little group, the Jewish group. I don't know. Anyway, Kenneth Royce was talking about the Republican Party is 80% there as far as fiscal policy, and the Democrat Party is 80% there regarding civil liberties. I don't really know what he's talking about, unless he's just got done reading something by Andrew Jackson or whatever. But the Democratic Party that I see doesn't seem to have any trouble continuing the Patriot Act. It doesn't have any trouble running an executive branch that runs guns to Mexico that are used in crimes. I think he's sorely mistaken. The in my point of view, their rhetoric may change a little bit, but when you look at the actual policies that are implemented and what they're actually doing, surveillance cameras are put up in Democratic towns just as readily as they are in Republican towns. Democrats are the leading pundits opposing weapons rights. Do you see weapon possession as a civil liberty? You know, I think weapon possession is one of the quintessential axioms of civil liberty. So yeah, I don't get where his theory is. Present administration very much included. You know, the crap that these people are signing off on is pretty wild. Again, I'll provide a link on President Obama's voting record, and take special note of the executive signatures where he has been the final authorization of certain processes. I don't think playing politics is any sort of valid excuse for making the calls that these people are making. Let's just talk about Fast and Furious real quick, and what that may or may not have to do with President Obama. For those of you who do not know, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, in cooperation with some other agencies, allowed illegal weaponry to be transported and shipped across the border into Mexico, where it was going to be put into known drug dealers' hands, and they wanted to kind of track where all these things were going. Well, make a long story short, that wasn't cool, and an American law enforcement officer ended up dying, as well as who knows how many people. You know, there's so much death and destruction that you're not going to hear about because somebody in another country doesn't rate the attention that an American law enforcement officer gets, right? You know, one American law enforcement officer's life is worth what? Like, the fact that it killed 300 Mexican citizens doesn't matter. It's ridiculous. That is utterly ridiculous that one person's life is greater than another. Both those lives are precious, and I'm not saying that to take away from from law enforcement or anything else. I'm just saying that life is precious, and I don't think enough people acknowledge that. I think they acknowledge that their own life is precious, but they never seem to be able to acknowledge that someone else's might be. It's crazy. It is crazy. So I don't see anything that the current administration is doing that furthers civil liberties. Furthermore, what I expect out of the President of the United States is to protect civil liberties. I believe it is his primary responsibility is to ensure my individual liberty. Period. I believe social liberty is an artificial. It's an artificial entity. Rothbard points out in his book For a New Liberty that most defined society is everybody but you. What type of exclusive shit is that? You know, it just doesn't make sense to me anymore. There was a time when it did. You know, I don't. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was I was definitely a bit of a statist, and there are, gosh, if you go back in my video history on this channel, you'll see where I have defended taxation. I have claimed the righteousness of public works, and you know, what can I say? You get exposed to new information, you get exposed to new perspectives, and you make the call based on your point of view. And this is where I'm at now. I could bring you to the point where I had a definite shift. Let me see. The midterm senatorial election that we had 2 years ago, I was all about, hey, get out there, cast your vote. And then when only like a very small percentage of the voting populace showed up, I was like, oh my gosh, how could you when things are so rough? Why would you be willfully ignorant of the political process? And then I see the speech by President Obama, where they're talking. It was a State of the Union address, and he's talking about how they're going to help the economy, and he's talking about tax breaks and tax incentives and government grants, and something just clicked in my mind. And you know, combine it with my study of economics at the time, I'm like, holy crap! This stuff that he's talking about is not going to work. It's not going to work. Now, if your goal is to make people feel good about it and think that you're calling the shots and doing something, well, yeah, maybe it'll work. Man, but you know what? President Obama, if you're somehow watching this, if you want me to start a business where I can hire people, get the hell out of my way. All you're going to do is mess me up, slow me down. You're going to affect my esteem as I'm trying something new. You think that you letting your people put cameras up everywhere makes me feel like I'm doing right? Makes me feel like I'm doing wrong. And when a person wakes up in the morning feeling like they're doing wrong, that ain't no way to live. That ain't no way to live. Shame on you.